Hello friends, today we're going to be talking about special parallelograms. So all of these shapes are also parallelograms, but they have more specific names. Use properties of quadrilaterals to solve problems and logically justify results. So the first one we're going to talk about here is a rectangle. A rectangle is a special type of parallelogram that has diagonals that are congruent. So the other things about parallelograms are also true. Opposite sides are parallel, opposite sides are congruent. We have two angles that are equal to each other, and then other angles add up to 180. But in this case, we're talking about the diagonals, AC and BD. So those are congruent if it is a rectangle. So our first example here, they're telling me AC is 16 and wanting me to find OC. We learned from parallelograms that diagonals also bisect each other. So if we go back up here, each little part of the diagonal are also congruent to each other. Okay, so if I add another letter in here, I'm just going to add an E in there, that middle point where they cross. AE is congruent to BE, is congruent to CE, is congruent to DE. So each little part is the same. So let's go back to this one here. They're telling me that this whole part is equal to 16. Well, I know each of these is equal. So that would mean that OC is half of AC. So OC is half of 16, which means OC is 8. So 8 centimeters. So get another one here. They're telling me OW, so just this part is equal to 12. Well, if that's 12, that means each little part of our diagonal here is equal to 12. They want to know what OV is. Well, we just found this. OV is also 12. We know that OW and OV are the same. So if OW is 12, OV is also 12 inches. So get another one here. AC is 6x. And BD is 30. So we need to find x. Well, we know that AC is equal to BD. So 6x is equal to 30. Dividing both sides by 6, we would get x is 5. So x is 5 feet. Let's look at another one here. OF is 17. So that's 17. All of these little parts then are 17. And EG, this whole thing, is equal to x plus 15. Well, I know that OF plus OH, that whole part here, is equal to FH. So that means 34 is equal to FH. And then we also know that FH is the same as EG. So 34 equals x plus 15. And if I take 15 from both sides, then x is 19. So 19 inches. So get another rectangle. They're telling me that OP, so this part right here, is 67 plus 10x. They're also telling me that OQ is 4x minus 3. Well, we know those are equal to each other. I know OP and OQ are equal. So I can say 67 plus 10x is equal to negative 4x minus 3. So solving this one, I'm going to add 3 to both sides. So then I get 70 plus 10x is negative 4x. Take 10x from both sides. And 70 is negative 14x. And then dividing both sides by negative 14, I'll get x is negative 5. So x is negative 5 inches. The whole diagonal then, if I figure out what one of these equals, so let's say I figure out what OQ equals, now that I know x is negative 5, negative 4 times negative 5, take away 3 is 17. So I know each part here is 17, which means the whole diagonal then is 17 plus 17, which is 34 inches. Next one we're going to talk about is a rhombus. A rhombus is a special type of parallelogram where the diagonals are perpendicular bisectors of each other. So my two diagonals, which I'm highlighting here in green and orange, they meet at a right angle. So all of these angles here are 90 degrees. 90, 90, 90, and 90. I also know, because it's a parallelogram, that the angles, or that the diagonals bisect each other. So those two parts are congruent, and these two parts are congruent. So not only are those perpendicular, again, I know that each little part of the diagonal is split into two, or each part of the diagonal is split into two. We also know that the opposite angles are bisected. So that means angles 5 and 6 are the same, and 7 and 8. So 5, 6, 7, and 8 are all equal to each other, and 1, 2, 3, and 4 are all equal to each other. So let's look here. This is a rhombus. What is the measure of ADE? So ADE is this angle down here. That's what we're looking for. Well, some stuff that we already know. If that is 53 degrees, then that angle right there is 53 degrees. I also know that's 90 degrees because it's a rhombus. We'll call this X since it's the angle we're looking for. So I know that 53 plus 90 plus X equals 180 because it's a triangle. 53 plus 90 is 143. Plus X is 180. So if I take 143 from both sides, I'll get X, or that angle measure, is 37 degrees. Again, when we're talking about angles, make sure you put the degree mark. So get another one. QPT is 16 degrees, so I'm going to put 16 there, 16 there. I know all of these are 16 degrees. Again, it's a rhombus, so I know all of these angles in the middle are equal to 90. They want to know what PST is. So they're looking for that angle right there. So I'm going to solve this the same way. 16 plus 90 plus x is 180. 16 and 90 is 106. So 106 plus x is 180. Taking 106 from both sides, I will get that x is 74 degrees. All right, this one is having to deal with the side lengths. So the side lengths of a rhombus are all the same. And again, because of the fact that this is also a parallelogram, I know that those two parts of my diagonal are the same. They want us to find GH, so they want us to find this side. Well, remember, all four sides are the same. So if I can find HJ, then I can find GH, but before I can do that, I need to find X. So again, I know that these two diagonals are the same, so I can say 2x plus 3 equals 4x, take away 7. So solving this, I'll take 2x on both sides, and 3 equals 2x, take away 7. Adding 7 to both sides, 10 equals 2x. And then dividing by 2, we'll get that x is 5, but we're not done because they want us to find the side length. So now that I know that x is 5, I'm going to plug it in for my side length. 3 times 5 plus 1 gives me 16, which means all of these sides are 16. So GH is 16, and they don't give me any units, so I'm just going to say 16. Here they want me to find M and O. So this whole big angle up here they want me to find. So let's see what we can do. I know this has to be 62 degrees. All of those angles are 62 degrees. All of these middle angles are 90 degrees. So I need to find my missing angle for one of those triangles. I know 90 plus 62 plus x is 180. 90 and 62 is 152 plus x is 180. Take away 152. And I'll get that x is equal to 28 degrees. But we're not done. They're not just asking for that little part. So I know that's 28 degrees, and that part is 28 degrees, which means that the whole entire angle is 28 plus 28, which is 56 degrees. So again, we had to find each individual angle and then add them together to get the whole angle. All right, one more rhombus. They want us to find QT. So they want us to find this little part of the diagonal. Well, first we need to find y. The only way we can find y here, I know that PS is equal to RS because it's a rhombus. So 3y take away 1 equals 2y plus 3. So solving this one, I'll take 2y from both sides. Y take away 1 is 3. Add 1 to both sides, and we get y is 4. So now I can find the length of the whole diagonal. 5 times 4, take away 4, gives me 16. So I know, again, that my whole diagonal here is 16. But they don't want to know what the whole diagonal is. They just want to know QT. QT is half of QS, which means QT is half of 16, which means QT is 8. All right, lastly here, we're going to talk about squares. A square is actually a combination of a rectangle and a rhombus. So everything that's true about a rectangle is true about a square. Everything that's true about a rhombus is true about a square. So I know that all of my sides are equal. AD is congruent to CD, is congruent to CB, and is congruent to AB. So all 4 of those sides are congruent. Also, all 4 of the different parts of the diagonal are congruent. So AO and DO and CO and BO are all congruent. And then we have a bunch of right angles. Also, because the angles A, D, C, and B are all right angles, but I know because it's also a rhombus that the diagonal splits the angles in 2, which means these are each 45 degrees. All right, so let's look here. RSTU is a square. So I know each part, they're giving me that that's 12, so I know each little part of the diagonal is 12. They're also telling me that the side length is 17. So that means every side is 17. So RU is 17, MS is 12, RT is 12 plus 12, which is 24, and UT is 17. So again, the 4 sides are all 17. The 4 different smaller parts of the diagonals are all 12. And then the whole entire diagonal is 24. All right, one more here. Looks like we got to find a lot of things. We got to find X and Y and plug them back in. Let's find X first. I know every angle of a square is 90. So 3X equals 90. Dividing by 3, I would get X is 30. Angle F and angle G, since this is a square, they're both 90 degrees. Now let's find Y. I know that the 2 sides are equal. FJ equals JH. So 15Y plus 2 equals 11Y plus 10. Taking 11Y from both sides, I'll get 4Y plus 2 equals 10. Taking 2 from both sides, 4Y is 8. And then dividing by 4, I'll get Y equals 2. And they want to know JH, so plugging 2 in there, 11 times 2 plus 10 is 32. All right, friends, I know that was a lot of properties. Make sure you keep them organized. Have a nice day.